And good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. This is my Sunday morning conscious eating, conscious living Facebook chat. I am Ann Metcalf. I guess I'm a wellness advocate and looking at what we eat and how we live and how that can make a difference in our world. And when we come from that more peaceful place in our everyday living, it makes such a difference to ourselves and all those around us. So today, um, I got thinking about a few things. and the title is From Survival Instinct to Superfood Hype and What Soil Can Teach Us. And I'm writing a book about the spirit of soil. And it's an invitation for us to remember and remember that divinity that is within all of us. We are these beautiful embodied energies, angels in a body, however you want to call it. And we eat to survive. And we also eat because it tastes good. And we love the cooking experience or the eating experience. And so, um, yeah, I just want to thank you for joining me. And as always, I invite you to be your own health guru. We are basically individual. We have a beautiful gut microbiome that knows how to digest the food, and we can choose to improperly combine food that makes it harder for our gut buddies to go, what do I do with this? Especially ultra processed food. And remember, it's not medical advice, it's information for you to check out. And I want to start with a question. Have you ever seen a headline that promised something like one food that melts belly fat or the ancient secret to living to 100? It's tempting, right? We think maybe this is the answer I've been looking for. That curiosity isn't flawed, it's actually wired into us. And I know I've been guilty of looking for ways to get on that healthy body track with newly researched products. So let's dive in. Our brains love shortcuts. Our tendency to choose quick, easy solutions is not a flaw in our character. It's an ancient survival adaptation. Anatomically modern humans, so the new Cro-Magnon man, AMH, evolved to conserve energy and grab quick wins when food was scarce. The problem is that our 200,000-year-old instinct are now operating in a world of abundance, engineered convenience, and relentless marketing. We're vulnerable to anything that feels like we've acted, whether or not it works. The challenge now is that that same wiring is being used against us in advertising, in product marketing, and even, excuse me, how modern science is sometimes presented to the public. The ancient wiring, well, thousands of years ago, survival meant hunting, gathering, and conserving energy. Every calorie mattered. If you found ripe fruit nearby, you ate it right away. If you could build a quick shelter before a storm rolled in, you did it. Quick wins were rewarded in your brain with a hit of dopamine, so you would repeat them. Now, in that world, quick fixes were healthy. Finding honey, fresh berries, or clean water really could make the difference between survival and starvation. Here's the key. In those earlier times, health systems like Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, and indigenous ways didn't rely on one magic ingredient. Health was a pattern, a whole way of living that blended food, herbs, movement, spiritual connection, and strong community ties. And we're going to look at that in a few minutes. Now, the modern mismatch. So, fast forward to today. Food is abundant. You can get almost anything at any time, but often highly processed. Many of our health challenges develop slowly over decades, yet our brain still wants quick, obvious solutions. We're drawn to anything that promises immediate results: a pill, a supplement, a fad diet, or the latest superfood. It's not weakness. And if there's a habit, that's different. It's our evolutionary survival strategy still running in the background. But in a world of abundance and engineered convenience, that instinct can mislead us. So, how marketing hooks us? Modern marketing is built to take advantage of that wiring. They've got the scientists on their side too. They use emotional triggers, promising hope, relief, beauty, youth, or belonging. They create urgency, limited time offer before it's banned. They use testimonials and transformations, before and after photos, that make the product seem like the only missing link. They link it to authority, a doctor in a white coat, or scientifically proven in big letters. The message is always the same. You can have the reward without the slow, steady work. And when something seems too good to be true, we want to believe it anyway because hope is powerful and marketers know it. We've fallen for this before. This isn't new. We've had cycles of hype for centuries. In the 1800s, patent tonics promised to cure everything from fatigue to serious illness. Most were just alcohol, sugar, and herbs. In the mid 1900s, margarine was sold as heart healthy because it was low in saturated fat, only to learn later that the trans fats it contained were far more harmful. And it was also cheaper than butter. And that was partly why my mom would buy it for our family of 9. In the 1930s, can you believe this? Cigarette ads featuring doctors claiming smoking aided digestion, calmed the nerves, and helped you reduce fat. Well, it's the same formula each time. Take a grain of truth, strip away the context, and package it as a miracle. Now, coconut oil, a case study. Take a coconut oil. Now, I do use coconut oil, and you've probably heard it's a heart and brain superfood. That claim comes from studies of Pacific Islanders who enjoyed good health despite eating lots of coconut. But here's the missing context. They also ate fresh fish, root vegetables, fruits, and greens. They moved constantly as part of their daily life. We live on, we're couch potatoes, some of us. They lived in tightly connected communities with low chronic stress. And how many of us have got stress in our lives? Coconut oil does raise good HDL cholesterol, but apparently it does raise a bit of the bad LDL cholesterol. Um, and in the context of a whole fresh food diet, active lifestyle, it's likely neutral or even beneficial, especially when you get the whole coconut, crack it open. But marketing stripped away the bigger picture and sold it as a stand-alone miracle. Now, those blue zones that you've heard about, another example. Blue zones, the regions of the world where people live the longest, into their hundreds, are a treasure trove of insight. But they're also a case study in how the message gets distorted. In places like Icaria, Greece, and Sardinia, Italy, the longevity secret isn't one food. It's plant-rich diets with seasonal variety and daily movement built into their life, walking the hills, gardening, cooking from scratch, rest, naps, and low stress, deep social bonds, and a sense of purpose. But what gets marketed? Olive oil, red wine, a plant-based label. Again, the whole pattern is the magic, not a single item on the shopping list. So other superfood hype, turmeric, cacao, goji berries, all have potential health benefits, but the strongest results come from when they're part of a varied, balanced diet, not when they're extracted into a little capsule or blended into a sugar-laden snack bar. How science gets twisted. Science itself is careful, cautious, and designed to self-correct, but headlines and marketing often grab onto those early results and present them as settled fact. One small study gets oversized media coverage. Industry funding shaped the questions asked and the way the results are framed. Kind of biased, Most studies are presented as if they're proven in humans. Nuance disappears, and we get absolutes instead. Then, when later studies show how different results, people say science can't make up their mind, when really it's just the process unfolding. The soil farming parallel. This quick fix mindset isn't just in health, it's in farming too, which is where our food comes from. Traditionally, farmers worked with the land, rotating crops, adding compost, planting diversity to keep the soil alive and resilient. But the lure of fast results led to a chemical revolution. Synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, and GMO seeds promising resistance and higher yields. At first, it worked. Crops grew faster, pests died, harvests soared, but over time, the soil's living systems were stripped away. Biodiversity declined, and farmers became dependent on those same quick fixes, more pesticides, more extra fertilizers. Soil's wisdom echoes the truth about our own health. Remember, I am not separate from you. When you feed me with life, I feed you in return. Quick fixes may work for a season, but true vitality comes from long, patient care. So we need to listen to our own inner knowing. There's the part we sometimes forget. We all have innate intuitive knowing about what keeps us well. We notice when a food gives us energy or leaves us sluggish. We feel the difference between a body that moves daily and one that sits all day. Our gut, both literally and figuratively, sends us signals. Our ancestors relied on this sense all the time. They didn't need a label saying organic. They could see and smell the freshness. They didn't need a chart to track steps. They moved because life required it. That inner wisdom hasn't disappeared. It's just been drowned out by noise, advertising, and a flood of conflicting advice. Part of reclaiming health is learning to listen to it again, to feel into what truly nourishes us. So we've got this quick fix versus whole patterns. So the turmeric cures inflammation and disease. In India, turmeric is part of our spice-rich diet, often with black pepper and healthy fat in a plant-based meal. Olive oil, secret to long life in the Mediterranean. Well, as we mentioned, Icaria and Sardinia, they had the high veggie bean intake, and they're walking, and they had a midday rest. Like, who does that nowadays? And then, of course, the dark chocolate, cacao, improves the heart and the brain. Woo! And it comes from the high flavanol cacao in whole food diet, not sugary chocolate bars. So the takeaway, when you hear the next magic claim, pause and ask, is this the whole picture or just one tiny piece? And that's what scientists do. They take the orange, oh, vitamin C, put it in a pill, cool. But you know what? What is it about that whole orange that works better than the pill? Would this work without the rest of the healthy lifestyle? Slower systemic solutions may not be flashy, but they're the ones that truly last in our body and our soil. So our ancestors' instincts once saved their lives. Today, those same instincts are used to sell us illusions. But the real magic is in the pattern, in caring for our health and our earth the way nature intended, with patience, diversity, respect for the whole system, and endeavor and effort. When we remember that, when we listen to the quiet signals from our own body, we move from hype to quick fixes to a life rooted in true nourishment for ourselves, our community, and for the living soil beneath our feet. Use your intuition. Listen to your body, your greatest divine guide, and go plan your garden or a community garden, even better. Or buy from local farmers. You get the idea. So just have a wonderful day thinking about what's on your plate, what's in that little bowl of pills, I take some too. Sometimes our body needs that little extra nourishment until we get our soil back into its beautiful biodiverse nature and grow your own food if you can. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you've learned something. Go do your own research, and until we meet again, thank you.